up, guys? News FL here. Today we're going to be discussing who is going to win it all, who I believe is going to win it all in the playoffs. So we're finally in the playoffs. Today is January 11th, 2023. So yeah, we're past the regular season's over. It's time for the postseason, and yeah, we're going to start with the AFC. Um, so if you look right here, we got the Chiefs. That who got the bye, the first round bye, I believe, because of the 1 seed they have. So yeah, if you look at the AFC, which we're looking at right now, right, the Chiefs went 14-3, highest record in the AFC, and yeah, they won their division, right? The Chargers made it in as well, and they got the 1 seed. So yeah, we got the Chiefs standing at 14-3, Chargers 10-7, Jaguars 9-8, Bengals 12-4, Ravens 10-7, Bills 13-3, and Dolphins 9-8. I know everyone's gonna talk about the Damar Hamlin game and all that, but really doesn't affect that much of a seeding. I still believed the Chiefs would have won the first round bye because they've just been unstoppable with Patrick Mahomes. And yeah, and anyway, we got to start off with Jaguars versus Chargers, right? So if you look at the Chargers games, and this is my verdict, right? So let's look at their past couple games, right? They beat the Dolphins barely, but that the Dolphins, they've been horrendously bad in losing games. You got the Titans and the Chargers. Chargers barely beat uh, Ryan Tannehill and Malik Willis, which is not a good sign. Uh, I hate when this happens. Okay, sorry about that. But yeah, and then they beat the Colts, right? Of course, everyone beats the Colts, and they beat the Rams 31 and 10. Now, these past couple teams have not been very good. And on Sunday, the Chargers actually lost to the Broncos. So yeah, and Justin Herbert was definitely playing. They were trying to get a better seating. So yeah, I know Chase Daniel played for a bit, but still, if you look at Justin Herbert, he threw the ball a lot. He definitely played a lot. So yeah, that's pretty much the verdict. You gotta be like you gotta be a little bit worried as a Chargers fan because you lost to the horrible Denver Broncos. And while you got the yes, I'm gonna go there. You got the Jaguars, who've been winning games recently. They beat the Texans 31-3. It's the Texans, so we can't be anything. They did beat the Titans in a close matchup. So did the Chargers. So to state the fact, I do believe Jaguars Chargers is going to be a close game. They beat the Jets. They beat the Cowboys. I believe beating the Cowboys is very lucky. But if you look at this, they've had a momentum streak, while the Chargers they haven't. So if the Jaguars defense can stop Austin Elker, right, and Justin Herbert, who's never been in the playoffs before, as well as the Jaguars or Trevor Lawrence, but I think momentum's gonna help the Jaguars this game, and I can't believe I'm gonna be saying this, but I think the Jaguars are gonna be winning this game. I do. The Chargers, they got injuries. They've had injuries. On the defensive side, they have Mike Williams and Keenan Allen back, but still, you can't overlook that loss to the Broncos. You can't, unless the second half they bench their guys. But Justin Herbert threw the ball quite a lot, so I don't believe so. But yeah, I have the Jaguars beating the Chargers. Yeah. Moving on, we've got Bengals Ravens. See, this one's just easy to me. There's no doubt in your mind they have to say this. It's the Bengals. The Bengals are going to win this one. Ravens, they're out of focus. They're horrible without Lamar, and I don't even know if Lamar's going to be playing because he hasn't been playing, right? He's going to be a bit rusty, and a rusty Lamar is not good. First of all, and yes, they have won games without Lamar, but look at these scores. like they've been very lucky to have a bad schedule. Like 13 to 3, 10 to 9, 16, 3, 17. You cannot accept. And look at the last game. They're gonna verse them once again. You really expect them to be able to outscore the Bengals? There's no way. Even with Lamar, there's no way Bengals are going into this one. And then you got the Bills and the Dolphins. Now you got to talk about the Dolphins for a quick second because we know the Bills, they're great, but the Dolphins, hey, they're 9-8. They've lost 5 games in a row in their last couple of games. It all depends on Tua's health. If Tua ain't healthy, then there's no chance. There's really no chance. They lost to the Patriots. They stupidly beat the Jets. Like they should not be proud about that win, 11-6. That doesn't feel like an NFL score at all. Lost the Packers. They pulled up a close game against the Bills, but it just proves to you that the Bills are even though the Dolphins had a good game, the Bills just come on top. It's just yeah, it's inevitable. And plus they might not even have Tua, so yeah. Uh, truly, I don't think the Dolphins stand a chance, even with Tua, because he's he's never been in the playoffs. Josh Allen's been in the playoffs. He's been sensational in the playoffs. It's quite easy that the Bills are gonna go past the Dolphins in the wild card round. So yeah, and if you look at this, um, you got Chiefs and the Jaguars who are riding hot. You know what I mean? They're they're definitely feeling good about themselves. But is it enough to stop the MVP Patrick Mahomes? No, I don't believe it is. Now, Trevor Lawrence, he put up a good fight against the Chargers. Beat them in my mind. He will beat them, but he will not be able to outperform Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelsey. But the Jaguars have a lot to look up to. They don't have Calvin Ridley yet, but when they do, they'll be a great team. Um, yeah, I don't think that the Jaguars defense is not gonna be able to stop Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelsey and all that. So yeah, while the Chiefs, like if you look at the Chiefs now, listen, we do have to talk a little bit about Patrick Mahomes' recent play. Um, isn't played amazing against the Broncos. He's thrown a little bit too many picks. But still, even when he has a bad game, he finds a way to win. Against the Texans, he played bad. So you might be like, is there time for an upset here? You know what I mean? Because the Seahawks, they ain't very good. They did make the playoffs, but they were very lucky for the Lions and the Packers to all of a sudden. I mean, a lot of luck came into the Seahawks winning. So did the Packers almost going in, and the Lions were unfortunate. Lions, I feel like, were the best team out of the three, and they should have made the playoffs, but Seahawks did. So yeah, they've lost to the Bengals. And yeah, I don't know. Personally, I don't think the Jaguars can do it. I mean, just look at the earlier in the season. Trevor Lawrence played good and they still lost. They're going to need way more from Trevor Lawrence, way more from the receivers, even though Christian Kirk went off. Just you can't stop Patrick Mahomes. It's simple. Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City Chiefs are going back into the AFC Championship. Now we have to talk about Bills Bengals. Now this game, people are going to be, I don't know about excited, but people are going to have their feels, you know what I mean? They're going to be in their feelings, especially since these two teams were supposed to battle each other. It was going to be a very interesting game. Nonetheless, a lot of people had that game on Monday night because this was going to be playoff implications. You would see who's going to actually like go on top, because we had a feeling these two teams, Bengals and Bills, would battle each other in the future, and we would want a preview of that. We didn't get that because of Damar Hamlin. It's no blame on him, of course, but he's good and well, and I honestly think the Bills are going to use that as energy to win this game. It's not like no hate towards the Bengals, of course, but I just feel like Josh Allen and the Bills. It could go either way. They could either power themselves up with DeMar Hamlin, or they'll be too distracted by DeMar Hamlin. I don't know. It's either or. And from the way they were, crying and tearing up about that, it's gonna be tough. It's definitely gonna be tough versing the Bengals again, having those memories again. But I think this time it'll be at the Bills Stadium, and yeah, I mean the Bills with Josh Allen. Josh Allen has been up and down throughout the year, but he always comes around. He always finds a way to win, which is good. Um, I think it comes down to the defenses, and if we looked at the start of this game, uh, I don't know, we can't, but when you looked at the game, you had the Bengals, like taking like a touchdown lead, right? And then Josh Allen and the Bills, they got a 3 point, and then the Bengals were rolling down the field, once again. So I think it's gonna be a shootout, um, because there's way too many offensive receiver weapons on the offensive side of the Bengals, and then again, Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, and his ability to extend plays is also good. Extend plays. It's gonna be very tough, but I think. Ooh, see, I'm thinking about it right now, like which team I want, because this is see if the game happened, if the game happened that got canceled, then I would have had a better perspective, but it didn't happen, so this is very hard to decide. Um, jeez, jeez, who they recently beat? Hmm, 3-1. Yep. I need to hold up 1 second, and I'll make my decision. I don't think they actually. I think they played like a half, but that's it. I don't. These numbers don't really look like a full game type. I mean, 42 attempts kind of feels like a full game type deal, but I feel like it was Joe Burrow and some non-starters. I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Oof. I'm saying. I'm saying the Bengals. I think the Bengals beat the Bills. They were on a roll against the Bills. They had their number, and DeMar Hamlin's going to make this very emotional for the Bills, and I think it's going to be frustrating. Um, but yeah, I'm sure these two do respect each other and everything. But I think Joe Burrow's going to come on top, and we're going to have a rematch of last year's AFC Championship. And now people are wondering who's going to Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes or the Cincinnati Bengals. All you need is one word. One word. Well, not one word, but one sentence. Patrick Mahomes has been historically bad against the Bengals recently with Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow has had Patrick Mahomes' number, and as you guys know, history repeats himself. And there is another thing to consider in this game. Now, Patrick Mahomes, if you look at the game they battled each other earlier in the year, Patrick Mahomes played pretty well. He ran for a touchdown. He scored a touchdown. Now, I do expect Travis Kelce to play better than he actually did, right? But then again, uh, I think these receivers are a little bit too hard to stop for the Chiefs' defense. And another thing to consider is that the MVP curse is real. Like look at Aaron Rodgers these past years. He had the one seed, boom out, and then you like historically MVPs just don't win the Super Bowl. And when you put that in consideration, and the Bengals having Patrick Mahomes' number, I think Patrick's going to be very nervous and is going to create a lot of mistakes in this game. Not like mistakes, but I think there's going to be a mistake that costs him the game. You know what I mean? Like last year where he threw an interception in overtime. So I'm saying, I can't believe it, but I think Bengals are going back to the Super Bowl. But yeah, that's my AFC side. Yeah, and now I'm gonna be doing a video on the NFC side. So yeah, stay tuned. Peace.